Good evening, everybody. Today's session is going to be short, I think, unless we end up with a lot of questions. But my name is Cherie of Simply Funded, and this is our monthly Show Me the Money discussion that we have with our community with regards to how investors can get funding for your properties that you want to purchase. And I am Cherie of Simply Funded. I'm the area director. My job is to match you and match property that you want to purchase to the best funding out there. And we have a lot of sources of funding, everything from, whether you want to purchase your own house and house hack to you want to purchase an investment property, a short-term rental. Got a call this morning for somebody who's buying a church, multifamily, mixed use buildings. Have one person we're actually working with who's buying a 24 unit building. So anything and everything practically that you're thinking of, we have sources and connections that are able to help you get the funding that you're looking for. So today's conversation, though, we are going to talk about a couple of different scenarios. If you're looking for money for a fix and flip, you're looking for money in order to fix something up and rent it. You're looking for long-term financing. You already found a property, maybe just needs a little carpet and paint, but it doesn't need massive renovations. How are you able to get those funded? And I also have a resource with regards to a little bit of gap funding that's available for you as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen here, and I am going to show you my presentation. Okay, so yes, again, show me the money, funding for your real estate deals. This is the monthly session that we do to help real estate investors get the funding that you need in order to grow your portfolio. So I did talk about this before. I'm going to talk about some of the secret loan programs that most investors don't know about, how to get money for fix and flips in order to fix and rent a property, buying rental properties. There's funding for that, low down payment options, and gap funding. We're going to talk about all of those options tonight. So the first question is, how do you build a portfolio? One of the big things that we within Simply Funded, if you're familiar with Grid, which is a real estate investment network that I highly suggest you become a part of, or whether you are talking about CASA, who are a group of outstanding real estate agents, or just, overall, when we think about how we build a portfolio, some of your portfolio will be built for cash flow, right? You're looking to have a certain amount of cash flow coming in so that maybe you can quit your job or go part-time or have more money for retirement, things like that. The other part of your portfolio may be things you're doing for cash. So I know several people who want to ultimately be buy and hold long-term real estate investors, but they don't have enough money right now for a down payment. So they're looking for things that they're able to do for cash. Those are your fix and flips, your wholesaling, your bird dogging, any kind of active activity that you're doing in order to find undervalued properties and be able to resell them at market value is how you're looking to build your portfolio. Also understand with every deal, every funding deal has two things that you're going to need: cash and credit. Now, you don't personally have to bring the cash to the table, but for the most part, there are creative financing deals that can be done. But for the most part, if you are dealing with any kind of a lender like me, if you're looking for hard money loans, things like that, you're not going to get 100% funding. So you will need to bring some cash to the table or have some cash available to bring to the table. The other thing is credit. I talked to somebody who is partnered with someone else. The first partner has great credit, but no cash. The second partner has cash, but no credit. So they're coming together in order to get a deal done. And I got to speak with one partner today and the other partner I'm speaking to on Wednesday. That happens all the time too. So every deal though does need both cash and credit. So let's talk about some of the hidden loan programs that are out there. The first is fix and flip loan. So you find a property, it's falling apart, or maybe it just needs a, carpet paint, maybe some new appliances, things like that. And you're able to create something that can be sold for a lot more than you purchased it for. Great. This is the fix and flip loan. Just a couple of things to know about the fix and flip loan. The first is that most of these loans are either 6 months or 12 months. You can get 18-month loans as well. That's an option. So it really does depend on how long you need the money for. But for most of my clients, 6 months is enough, or 12 months is more than enough time for you to get in there, fix the property, put it back on the market, and resell it. So for most of you, a 660 plus credit score is going to be fine. Down payment is going to be about 15 to 35%. And you may say, Cherie, that's a huge swing. Or you may say, great, Cherie, I can get the down payment that's 15%. Well, it depends. It depends on two major things. The first is your personal credit. Now, the lenders that I work with, whether it's hard money or whether it is some more quote unquote institutional money, they don't care how much you owe Neiman Marcus. They don't care how much your car note is, but they do care whether or not you have a 680 credit score or a 780 credit score. It does make a difference. The second thing is where the property is located. And the property location sometimes makes more of a difference than your credit itself. Properties can be either located in the city, in the suburbs, or in a rural area. The more rural the area is, the more the down payment is going to be, even if you have a 780 credit score. So you have to kind of, as you're thinking about this, think about your personal financials and also where the property is going to be with regards to your down payment. Also, for fix and flip loans, they can close anywhere from 10 days to 30 days. I have been fortunate enough to get closing done in 2 to 3 days, but those are with people that I really know and that we've done business with them before. And you're going to pay more for those kinds of loans. So if something is closing in 2 to 10 days, you're typically paying 3 to 5 points, and you're typically going to pay about 12 to 14% in interest. If you can wait 30 days, so if you basically get a contract where you ask the seller to give you 30 days, we can be a lot more competitive with regards to the rate and the terms that you're getting. So that's your fix and flip loan. Next is fix and rent. So let's say you find something and you want to be able to purchase the property, fix it up, and then rent it. You've got two options. The first is you can use the fix and flip loan initially, 6 to 12 months, fix it up, and then refinance it into a long-term loan. So that's option one that's not listed on this page here. But option two is if you have enough income and you want to do a one-time close loan, there is something called a one-time close renovation loan. It's also known as the home style renovation loan. It is part of Fannie Mae, so it is a conventional loan. If you are living in the property, you could put 5% down. If it's an investment property, you're looking at about 20% down. You can buy up to 4 units if it's a primary residence, again, with 5% down, or you could buy 1 unit if it's an investment property. So again, the 2 times you need a renovation loan, number one, for houses that need repairs and the seller refuses to fix it, Or number two, houses that are dated, I call them fixer uppers, not money pits, but just fixer uppers. You're able to basically buy houses that are dated, get this money in order to renovate the property as well. And then it actually converts once the renovations are done, it converts into a 30-year fixed loan. So you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to worry about rates going up, rates going down, anything like that. You don't have to worry about applying for a second mortgage or a HELOC or something like that in order to get the renovations done. So I have seen people get up to 150,000 included in your mortgage with regards to the renovation loans if they're one-time close. And you can get even more. Just come to me. There are a couple of options that we have, but we just basically want to make sure that all of the numbers work with regards to your long-term strategy. Next, rental properties. You find a rental property, you want to get a 30-year loan on it. The DSCR loan stands for debt service coverage ratio. And it's a great loan because it's limited documentation. You can be unemployed and get this loan. You can have a lot of credit, not bad credit, but just you've got credit cards, you've got student loans, things like that. They don't care what's on your credit report. They only care about your score itself and whether the property makes enough money to pay the mortgage. So the way that I describe this for people with this specific loan is for every dollar you're spending in your mortgage includes your principal, your interest, taxes, insurance, and any HOA or condo fees. For every dollar that you're spending in a mortgage, you need to have at least $1 in rental income. And how is the lender going to determine what your rental income is going to be based on the market? They are going to do an appraisal, and the appraiser is going to tell the lender, hey, this property here is going to rent for $2,000 a month. And then what the lender does is they say, okay, well, that means your loan, your monthly payment cannot be more than $2,000 a month. And again, you have to remember that that monthly payment includes your taxes, insurance, and HOA or condo fees. Okay. So typically for these loans, I've even seen people go down to 640 FICO, but I will say the lower your credit score is, the more you're going to be putting down. So I have one lender that does 15% down for this kind of loan, and they go all the way up to 35, 40% down payment. And that your score is going to be important with regards to how much you have to put down, as well as where the property is located. So if the property is in a city or a suburb, you have more options. It's easier to get funding. You don't have to put as much down. If it's in a rural area, I could tell you now, I have closed these loans for people. You're putting down 35% to be in a rural area. We also have DSCR loans for short-term rentals as well. So if you find a property and you intend to rent it out for a short-term rental, we have these kinds of loans for people who intend to use those properties for short-term rentals. So the next thing, low down payment. Cherie, I don't want to put down 15, 20, 25%. I only want to put down 3.5% to 5%. Okay, great. Then you're going to have to live in the property. If it's a primary residence, you can get an FHA loan for 3.5% down. If you want a conventional loan, it's going to be 5% down. And you may say, Cherie, well, why would I choose a conventional loan over an FHA loan? All right, come closely, because I'm going to tell you something that a lot of people don't tell you. So if you are bidding on a property and there are a lot of people who are bidding on that property, and you're dealing with an experienced seller's realtor agent, that those are the people that actually represent the seller. If they're looking at multiple offers and your offer is for an FHA loan and somebody else's offer is for a conventional loan, they typically prefer to pick the conventional loan, even if your offer as an FHA loan is more than the conventional loan. Why? Because they feel like the conventional loan has a greater shot of closing because FHA loans are harder to close. So, you know, you may look at like, hey, I'm in a place with a lot of competition. Maybe I just, put down the 5% instead of the 3.5%. But that's also strategy with regards to if we're working together, you and I and your realtor. Okay. You can get a commission loan. You can get an FHA loan. It could be 1 to 4 units. FHA is 580 plus credit score. Conventional loan is 640 or more credit score. The better your FICO, the better the terms. So I'll just warn you about that right now. But the caveat is, let's say you're buying a 1 to 2 unit property and you're like, Cherie, I'm going to house hack. I'm going to get a duplex. I'm going to stay in one half and I'm going to rent out the other half. Great. No problem. The lender is going to require that you have enough money, you make enough money and income to be able to afford the entire mortgage on your own. So we would need to basically look at your numbers and just make sure that you can afford the entire mortgage on your own. So if you're doing any kind of house hacking, anything like that, you are going to need to be able to afford the mortgage on your own. And house hacking is a great way for you to get in low down payment. I've worked with somebody where they purchased their property, they lived in it for a year and a half, then they purchased the next property. They house hacked that first property. They lived in it for a year and a half. They had roommates, and then they moved to their next property a year and a half later. And those roommates were paying the mortgage plus for that first property. And then they just did that over and over again. The gentleman is on his third house right now with regards to house hacking. So, and stuff like this, you do want to do with conventional loans if possible. So, also that renovation loan we talked about a couple of slides ago, that could be used to turn something from a 1 unit to a 2 unit. It could be used to, build walls and, add bathrooms and things like that. So thinking about that home style renovation loan as a way for you to increase your income with regards to the property, that could be a great way for you to do that. Gap funding. This can only be used for investment loans, and it cannot be used for conventional or FHA loans. But I do have a couple of sources. The first is there's some 0% down for, 0% interest for 18-month credit cards that I have access to. And with investor loans, they don't care where you're getting the money from. So you can basically get a cash advance. Just make sure that the numbers make sense for you to get that cash advance and you have the ability to pay that back. But that's an option. You have to have a 700 plus credit score. If you don't have a 700 plus credit score and you have a 401k that is not directly tied to your current job, I also have another lender that will loan you money against that 401k. You just have to have a minimum balance of $25,000 in order for them to do it. So if you come to me, if you're like, hey, Cherie, that sounds interesting, I want to know more, I'll connect you with the individuals who can help you apply and figure out if those are going to work for you. That 401k option doesn't matter what your credit score is. Okay. So that is my number, you can either call or text us at 703-951-4419 with your questions. I am going to leave this up, and I see that we have multiple people here, so I'm also going to allow you to unmute yourselves. And if you have a question, definitely feel free to ask. Any questions? Well, they say when people are quiet and you have no questions, that means either I did a really good job or a really bad job. So I hope I did a really good job in giving you an overview with regards to what's possible. But I'm just looking on my cell phone here just to see if there were any questions in Facebook. If I can find a slide here. Here we go. Okay, doesn't look like anybody has questions there either. All right, everybody. Well, y'all have my phone number. You can either call or text. You can also get a loan consultation with me if there are specific, questions that you want to ask in like a 15-minute discussion. I'm more than happy to assist you with that as well. And thank you so much for being here this evening. And I'll see you next week. I think we're going to have our rooming house person coming back next week at 6 p.m. So yes. Yes. So if you want to know how to maximize your profits with rooming houses, then next week's discussion will be for you. Okay. Thanks so much, everybody. Good night.